Into a bit of space, but low users sent just instead. Pearson wants it into the area. Pearson, can he score? Pulls it back. Chance. It's 6. It's Titchiner, and it's all too easy for the Shermen. It's one of the moves of the match, to be honest. Pearson could have tried to grab a great goal on his first start for Town, pulled it back for Titchiner.
Alex Titchiner has been a big hit in his short time at the Shea Stadium. The young striker, who is on loan for the second time from Fleetwood Town, has scored 7 goals so far in the famous blue of FC Halifax Town. But how did this exciting prospect first take the lunge into football?
Basically, it first started off, just used to go to after school sessions at my school. I think it was about roughly 7 or 8. And within a few weeks, they put me forward to go and play for my county team, Denbighshire, back home in North Wales. And then within being there 3-4 months, we played Everton, and I found myself at Everton at the age of 7. And basically it was just a case from the age of say 7 to 12. Basically playing, Sunday league football, school football, and having trials at a few clubs, clubs like Blackburn, Man City, Tranmere, Everton as well again, and then I found myself at Crewe.
Like many others, Titchiner's passion for football is a constant theme in his early memories.
All I can remember really is from, I remember my 4th birthday, waking up in the morning and in the back garden being a set of goalposts for my birthday. I caught my mum in the morning, wrapping them up with a ribbon, and just remember, night upon night, being out in the back garden with my dad and his mates, and just having a kick around because my parents were young when I was growing up, and I just remember countless hours being in the back garden with my dad, even when it was dark. Just hours upon end of playing football with my dad, and that's how it started really.
Titchiner has impressed with his hard work this season and has been a stalwart up front for the Shaman. However, throughout his career he has played a number of positions. But who were his biggest heroes growing up?
I started off as a right midfielder when I was younger, and that's where I was always playing. And obviously, growing up in the era of David Beckham, he influenced me then, in terms of hairstyles, boots, the way he wore the kit. Everything in my room was Man United and David Beckham. And then I had a brief spell playing right back when I was going to places like City and Everton when I was a bit older. And then I was playing centre midfield, and that's how I got picked up by Crewe. I think straight away there they noticed I could score goals. I was an instinctive finisher, and decided to play me up front as well as my pace, which has worked out well, and that's from ages 12, 13. That's sort of where I found my position. So then obviously you start to look at strikers, and it was Michael Owen, and then as I got towards 16, 17, 18 it was Torres. So I used to watch people like Torres and see how they play their game, try and get to games and watch them live in the stadium to see how they played, and if I could add little bits like that to my game.
As mentioned, Titchiner came through the famous Crewe Academy, but his biggest influence hasn't been Dario Gradi.
Dario Gradi had a lot for my development in terms of bringing me on as a footballer, but there isn't anyone to date really who's had more of an influence, and that's my family. My parents, they gave up a lot to take me back and forth 5 times a week to Crewe, and without them giving up things that they have, I would never have had the opportunity. So the coaches and that have an input, but without mum and dad I wouldn't be where I am today.
Titchiner has returned for a second time to the Shea Stadium, but how important has non-league football been to his development?
9, Alex Titchiner.
In terms of non-league football, it got me back to where I fell from. I left Crewe as a young pro at 18, 19, and found myself playing at Colwyn Bay. Well, I wasn't playing at Colwyn Bay, and then obviously went to Witton, as everyone knows, and it's non-league football that's got me back to where I thought I should never have left in the first place. I was lucky enough to get signed back into league football and play a few games, and then like you said, I've come to Halifax the first time around and done well, which has put me in better stead for going back there, and found myself in the team. And then touching on that whole mental thing with me again, I came out of the team and sort of lost my head a little bit. So coming back here, it's helped me clear my head once more, and I played some games and scored some goals, which is helped me a lot. And yeah, I do think non-league has helped me, not just me but a lot of other players as well, making the games, because you get a lot of good young players, and some lads as well who are a bit more older, but they've still got a chance of making it. So non-league's good for in terms of higher up the system.
His pace and attack has opened new doors for the Shaman this season, and for Titchiner himself, who broke into the Fleetwood first team earlier this year. But what has been his best moment so far at the Shea Stadium?
I'd say obviously the first one is the hat-trick against Droylsden at home. That really does stand out for me. Trying to think what else. I only usually score tap-ins, so it's not exactly. Don't really score many worldies, but I'd say definitely the Droylsden goal. That sticks really.
Titchiner pulled his socks up and worked hard from an early age. But what advice does he have for any youngsters that are looking to break through into football?
I think the first thing you've got to enjoy it. I've grown up really taking it seriously, not because of what other people have said to me, but because of the sort of pressure I put on myself. And at times I do sort of struggle with my head mentally in terms of getting over the bad things that happen in football. I say the first thing is learn to play with the game with a smile on your face. And second thing is, if you are wanting to sort of try and make it in the game, is give it what you've got, because sometimes you only get one shot. In terms of it might be practicing in the garden. If your mates are sat in the house playing Xbox and PlayStation, but you're outside in the back garden practicing what you can in terms of developing your skills, I think it's going to stand you in better stead.